Hi everyone, welcome to David at Go To Hobbies. I've come up with another idea and I've been doing some research and I think it might be an improvement on what I've done for the stone tumbler 15mm bearings on a 12mm threaded shaft. When I say a threaded shaft, it's basically a threaded bar, which is M12. The size of the bearings are 15mm internal diameter, but the problem with that is a 12mm shaft, and the bearings internal is 15mm. So I've got a 3mm gap, and I thought about how to rectify that. I've come up with an idea. If you haven't seen my previous video on my design of how to center the bearing so it's held in position in the central, so it's not vibrating when the shaft spins. Allow me to get a shaft with a bearing on and I will show you what I've done. 2 seconds. And bear with. Right, as you can see, this is a 15mm inside diameter bearing. Now, in a previous video I talked about what I'd done, but I think I've come up with a better idea. What I actually did for that was use Nylox, which is a locking nut with a bit of nylon in the end of the nut to make sure it locks onto the shaft to stop it coming undone. That's all a Nylock is. It's a self-locking nut. But what I'd done for this design at the moment, what I'm using is, if you can see this, I actually, is it this one? Yes, it is this one. I actually filed off this edge, making like a 45-degree cone on there. So when it actually goes onto the bearing, it actually, if I get the right angles, it actually pushes it into the center on the shaft. That is the principle I've used, and I thought it was a good idea, but I've come up with a better idea. Instead of using these, why don't I use where I got the idea from in the first place, and that is a wheel nut. A wheel nut will actually be better for this job. It will, instead of making it, you can actually buy it and it'll save yourself money. What do they cost? You can buy about 16 of these M12 coned wheel nuts on eBay for about 12 quid in UK money. I don't know what that would be in US dollars. I don't know what the conversion rate is at the moment. So let's say $10. I don't know. Might be even more. I don't know. So without getting on that, let's just concentrate what we can do. And because the wheel nut will do exactly the same process, but the only downside, you can't lock it on the shaft unless you basically put something like Loctite on it to actually lock it, or you put a nylock on the other side of it, or you put a little dentation into the thread of the bar to stop the nut working itself off. But I wouldn't do that. I would rely on either a lock nut like I've got here without the alterations on it, or you can use Loctite, which is like a liquid you put onto the shaft of the, or onto the nut. You screw it on, tighten it up, and it locks it into place, and it acts as a like a bit of a glue, really, preventing it from coming undone. So, as I say, this works, but I thought instead of people actually filing down these nylocks to get that angle, and seeing as I come up with the original idea of a wheel nut doing the job and adapting something I already had, like I just showed you, I thought go one better, see if I can buy wheel nuts M12 size, which this is, and see if I can get a better design. It'd be quicker. You wouldn't have such of a pain to try and get this one on because you're going against the nylon, and to get this one on is a right pain in the backside because it doesn't want to go on like that. It wants to go on at an angle. It wants to kink one way or kink the other, and it is quite difficult. Out of how many have I done? Probably about 2, 4. This has been my 6th bearing. Out of all 3 of these ones at the ends, one went on easy. The rest was a pain. So if I can make things better, then it's going to work. So if you're on a budget, just use nylocks. If you've already bought them, you got them, you might as well use them. Or get yourself some M12 wheel nuts, which have got a cone effect on them, so which will lock this into place. I've bid on some on eBay, so I'm just waiting if they're going to accept my bid. If I have, I'll have those in about 3 days, so probably Wednesday before I get them. But that'll be an interesting experiment to see how they work on the bearing. If it's going to hold it in place, do I have to put, I would have thought I'll put another nut on the other side of it, or a nylon nut to hold it in place so it wouldn't go wandering. What do you think about that idea? It's something new. I wanted to tell you about it because I thought it will help you make your own stone tumbler. It's something I've come up with an idea, and I thought it'd be practical and it might help other people that are making stone tumblers or doing something similar where they want to center a shaft where the bearing is perhaps too big for the shaft they're using. It doesn't have to be M12. You can do it with, as long as you can get like a coned nut. If you can't buy them, make them. You get a simple process. Let me just find you what I did. Right. Obviously, the studding you're using, what we call M12, and it's basically a threaded bar. They sell them about 1 metre. Dog's barking again. Sorry about that. Out of my control. They're just a little bit annoying, but you just have to let it go red. So my apologies. So what I'm saying with this is you can have any size threaded bar, and to get your bearing aligned to the center, obviously if the bearing's sort of, I don't know, let's say 10 million inside diameter, and you've got a, I don't know, let's say you've got an 8mm threaded bar, you could use similar white type of lock nuts and see if that will actually, first experiment to see if it will work by holding the motor, sorry, holding the what they call it, the bearing in place. Oops, try it the other way around, David. Don't try and screw on the nylon lock nut end. And yeah, got a bit of a bear on that end because it's been I haven't sanded that end, filed that end down. There we go. So, what do you think of my idea? Is it practical? Will it work? I'm going to get some wheel nuts, coned wheel nuts, so I can try it as an experiment. and yeah, we'll update with a future video and let you know what I think and how much it's going to help, if it's not going to help, and so on and so forth. Right, last bit. What did you think? Leave me some comments below. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Always much appreciated. If you didn't like the video, what am I doing wrong? Is it a waste of time? What do you like? What you don't like? Leave me a thumbs down. But leave me a comment either way. I won't be offended. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. But that's your choice. Last thing is, please subscribe to the video. And the reason why I say subscribe is because it will help get these videos out to you. That way it also helps me to obviously generate more videos, and eventually when I get more into the editing side of things, I'll be able to edit the videos a bit more. But it's, for me, this is just a big, like anything, it's a learning curve how to do the YouTube videos. So most of my videos are unedited, and I try to do my best. But one bad habit I have is I keep saying if you haven't noticed. So I'm going to try and get out of saying so so we'll try and do our best. So as I say, it's something totally different to me, what I'm normally used to, and it's strange looking at the camera and I'm not looking at myself in the camera screen. So I must remember to look at the camera itself, because when I'm looking at the camera, you're seeing me looking at you, and it's difficult to get into the habit of that because I normally look at myself talking to you. So anyway, thanks for watching, and thank you for visiting David at Go To Hobbies, and we'll see you in the next one. And please don't forget, subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Take care. Bye for now.